Hello everybody and welcome to Wowhead Weekly number 160. We're entering the 60s now. I am Annie, or Annie Fuchsia. I'm a full-time streamer on Twitch and also your weekly host, together with the lovely Perculia.
Hey everyone, I am the site director for Wowhead. I help oversee all the news and guides and features like the calculators on the site. And it's always really fun to do this show and just share what's up, what we're doing on Wowhead with our audience and let you know about all the site updates and fun data mining and live events you might want to know about. As usual, if you have questions, you can send them to SAS148 and we'll get to them towards the end of the show. And we have a giveaway this week because Sass is back. He is no longer sick. Yay. And the prize is a Deathwing Funko Pop, and the entry method, it's exclamation point and then the word raffle. So R-A-F-F-L-E.
Welcome back, Sass, indeed. You have been dearly missed. Maybe that's why Brightpaw is hiding. He's like, I'm trying to go out. I'm trying to meet Sass.
Brightpaw, like, had a great time with Sass. When I was on my trip, Sass was babysitting Brightpaw. Brightpaw was taking out mats and stuff from the bathroom and dumping them by Sass's desk when Sass wasn't giving him enough attention. So.
That's so cute. That's so cute. Yeah, I think Brightpaw needs to realize that Sass is in the computer, on the computer screen. You know, if Brightpaw knew that, maybe Brightpaw would show himself right now.
Brightpaw, Sass is here. Now he's just like.
So if he comes running, now we know why.
Yep.
For Sass himself. But yeah, welcome back, Sass. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yep. Talking
about today's show, we have quite a few different topics, quite a few different things to go through. Always new model updates, hopefully, or not hopefully, luckily or happily, new spoilers as well. When that happens, obviously we'll put the spoiler tag up. We will take care of you guys. You won't have to be accidentally spoiled for anything. And some other stuff that's happening as well. I think we should get started straight away. What do you think, Perk?
Yeah, let's go into the models because, you know, they're fun, flashy, and got a wide assortment this time.
I've got a very pretty picture to show you guys to start with.
Yeah.
Right here. Isn't that amazing? Don't you guys look at this and think, you know what? I want to look like that. So if you're wondering what this is, it's a new item, I think. I'm not sure if it's an item, it's...
Yeah, it's a Pigman mask.
Yeah, Pigman mask. Possible... Is it going to be a possible transmog?
We don't know any items so far. We just know the model is called a mask, so maybe masks are from Hollow's End. We don't know.
Okay, yeah, so we don't know yet where it's going to be, but we can see how it looks like. I think it looks pretty funny, actually.
Yep.
It would have been nice to see this on a female, too, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, maybe we can get some more pictures of that. But yeah, it kind of fits in with the whole, we've got a pig boss, and then we have, the pigs have new models, and we have those really creepy, like,
those
half
beasts.
pig.
Yeah, those ones. I remember those. They looked so weird. No, this looks a lot friendlier than that, at least.
Oh no, Brightpaw, no. Sorry. He, like, pulled this metal rod and was carrying around in his mouth, which he can't do. He just deposited it by me and ran away, so he can't be doing that.
Bad metal stuff. Don't put metal stuff in your mouth, children and pets. Do not do that. On to the next model. We have something looking a little bit cuter. We have the something called the baby octopus. Let me see if we can get it up. It is very cute indeed. There it is. So this one is a slideshow showing the different colors of this baby octopus. We don't know much about it as of yet. Am I right, Perk?
Nope, just that it comes in like 9 different colors, and the animations are super cute, and it has a little eye patch.
Yeah, with a little sort of pirate mark on it.
Yeah.
So again, in the theme of pirates, which is really interesting because we've been seeing a lot of pirate stuff lately with the new updates.
Yeah, this almost reminds me of when Hearthstone did Whispers of the Old God
Mm.
expansion. Now there's some really cute like little BB tentacles. So this pet reminds me
Oh.
of kind of the fusion of
Uh-huh.
really cute stuff but also creepy things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's so many colors. There's like a pink one and a little pastel purple one and a green one and a blue one. So it's very cute.
Yeah, when I first
It'll
saw the
keep days
page,
sketchy.
when I first saw the page, I was like saving the images, and I thought there were gonna be three, and then I saw another one, and then another one, and then another one. I was like, whoa, that's a lot of colors. I didn't see that initially. Quite a
Everyone's
nice
like, I want
surprise.
this to sit on my head, and then I want Pepe to sit on top of this one's head. So,
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Pepe
yep,
on top of the baby octopus.
yep,
That'd be pretty
I'm in
cute.
favor.
Yeah, and then you would just use the Pepe on your head at the same time, and then you go around matching each other. I think that's a great plan.
Yep.
We
Uh,
also got some armor updates. As you guys might remember, Lady Liadrin had model updates. Was it last week or the week before?
I think it was the week before.
Okay, so the week before, Lady Liadrin had some new updates to her armor that was more matching her Hearthstone skin, actually. And now we also saw some model updates for her weapons. Let me
Cool.
get those up here. There we go.
Right. So this also matches the Hearthstone art as well. You can see there's the hawk on the shield and like the blood gems. And it's
Mm-hmm.
much closer to her Hearthstone art. And if you're not sure, if you've reached level 20 in WoW, then you can get Lady Liadrin as an alternate paladin hero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really
Um,
like it. It looks really cool. And yeah, the you could see that the beak is sticking out of the shield as well, very clearly, which is really cool.
when we post these, we're like, oh, like, wouldn't it be cool if players could get these in some way?
Yeah.
So, I don't think so right now, but you know, fingers crossed. It does look really cool, and it's interesting use of art assets because while the weapons are unique, the rest of her armor is not unique. So the Blizzard art department probably still saved themselves some time that they didn't have to make a whole new set of armor for her. They just kept the armor the same and only updated the weapons.
Mm-hmm. And
And then
then
speaking of shields, we have another shield.
mm-hmm.
This is the Dark Iron Dwarf shield. We don't know if NPCs will use this, but it would be really cool because it kind of matches the heritage armor for the Dark Iron Dwarf allied race pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we keep asking Blizzard, hey, you know, are matching weapons coming with sets? And they say, oh, you know, that's a great idea, but we don't have stuff planned. But the heritage armor sets are really elaborate, and it's kind of hard to find weapons that match them well. So we think it would be cool if some of these weapons were available to players.
Mm-hmm. Didn't we see some other weapons as well, matching some of the other heritage armors, like for Void Elf?
Yeah, the Void Elves have those weapons, and then the Nightborn,
Mm-hmm.
all of the weapons that the mobs in the raid use match really well. Like the
Mm-hmm.
Spectral Shield and the Spectral Glaive, all of that stuff would look super cool with the Heritage Armor set.
Wait, so you mean that they're actually going to be available?
Oh, no, they're not, but
Oh,
it
yeah,
would
yeah,
be
okay.
cool if they
Yeah.
were available. They have so many models that could
Yeah.
be repurposed for,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
matching Heritage Armor.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. You were talking about it positively, like as if it's
Yeah.
confirmed for us too. So
No,
I was
I
like,
think
oh,
it
really?
looks good.
Yeah, no, it does look good. I agree. But it's interesting to see more of these armors that, or weapons in this case, that matches the heritage armor, because that kind of starts hinting towards like, you know, if all heritage armors are going to have matching weapons, then maybe after all, we would be able to get them. Who knows?
Yep.
Who
Agreed.
knows? I think that's it for the models for now.
Yep.
So we could move on to the next topic, which is zone updates. And I think now would be a good time for Brightpaw to make an appearance.
He's right here. Come on,
He
Brightpaw.
is!
Come on. No, don't
Can
get
you
my
hear his
hand.
calling?
Come on, Brightpaw. Come on, Brightpaw. He's just rolling on the desk. Come on,
Aww.
baby. No, don't eat arm.
Can
Bad
almost see
cat.
him.
No eat arm. Be nice, cat.
There we go. Almost.
Ah.
Okay, so
There we go.
Brightpaw,
Yeah.
we are talking about the crazy
Yes.
cat lady.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So there are updates. Oh, yeah, I think people can see Brightpaw now very clearly, actually. There are updates on the Crazy Cat Lady house, and now there's dozens of cats sitting everywhere. On chairs, on one of the pictures, it's eyeing Pepe. Let me go through the slideshow here.
Yep. I think Brightpaw is jealous of the other cats. He's like, I am the cat. I will attach myself to your arm.
Yeah, okay. I understand, Brightpaw. I understand. I think we need to, we need to get these cats out of there now and get Brightpaw in there instead.
Yeah, we need a little, well, there are Brightpaws in game.
We need them all to be Brightpaw.
This was amazing to find in game. Just the one where the cat's staring at the Pepe is so cute.
Yeah, I know, it is.
It's the Scuba Pepe, and if you click on the Scuba Pepe, your Pepe then learns that costume, which I think is also really cute.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so cute, like everything is knocked over. You have like the vases are knocked over. There are little fish bones everywhere. There's a grooming kit. There's a little mouse. There are litter boxes. The cat is just sitting on top of the bookcase and doesn't care about anything. They're sitting on all of the chairs. So I find this really funny. They're even playing with string and fishing rod feathers. Brightpaw is good, and he does not knock things over, but a lot of people, I know their cats like to knock things over.
Yeah, no, Brightpaw is a good cat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's just back to sitting on the desk. He had his little moment of excitement. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really cool to see so many cats in the game. Crazy Cat Lady getting some love.
Yeah, and there are, I think, like 25 cats, and if you click on them, they're all petable.
Oh. Ah, that's actually adorable. Okay, the picture right now, I was waiting for this one to show again, is the one where the cat is looking at Pepe. Oh, it's gone again, but hopefully you saw that for a second. Yep. It's really cute.
Yep. Besides the Crazy Cat Lady, we also had updates to the other parts of the city. The docks were kind of plain at first, and now they have a ton of boxes and seaweed and banners and bloody fish parts and all sorts of gross things. And it looks really alive. So I think that's pretty cool. It looks very bustling. We've covered before how like Zuldazar is very grandiose, but it seems that if you were not like at the top of the city, that maybe life wasn't great for you. But Borealis just seems like very lively, no matter what kind of place in the city you would occupy. It seems like it would be a fun, interesting place to be in.
Mm-hmm. Always nice having these updates, making the cities feel more lively.
Yep.
More NPCs, more everything.
We also got some harbor updates. There were these elves from Tomb of Sargeras. Their statues were everywhere. Those have been replaced by admirals now. They're not totally finished, but you can tell that the silhouettes are different. There are some seagulls attacking more of the harbor. There are more NPCs wandering around. And down by the ships, there are more NPCs from different parts of Azeroth there, including the Worgen Fiona, who you might remember from the Eastern Plaguelands, and there are Tusker and Jinyu and a bunch of other representatives there.
And I saw someone in chat ask what city this is. This is the city of Borealis. It's one of the main cities, or one of the main alliance hubs for battle for Azeroth.
Yep. And I think in the slideshow we also have a few more furniture ones rotating through. There's a cake shop. There's just some like pretty cozy interiors. There's a really cute bedroom where there are stuffed animals and a book that's open and little zebra plushies and even a train set that works. So it's really nice to see the city coming to life. It kind of reminds me of, you know, Suramar, how even the houses that didn't really have any important stuff in them still were just fun places that were decorative to hang out in. So I think that's it with Borealis. Yeah.
We touched the maps last week, I believe, but now we got them. Are they more updated now?
So the cosmic map is more updated, and the maps which are new this time are the continents of Zandalar and Kul'tiran. Last time we got the zones for the individual, the maps for the individual new zones, and now we have like the larger maps done. Gotcha.
Yeah, so this is the new updated map for Zandalar, As you can see all the different zones in it, and it just looks more complete. We also have kul'tiran right here. And I think the world map is something that we did show last time, or has anything been updated with that as well?
I think they've moved stuff around and they've given the new continents names.
Okay.
So that eastern part of the map is looking pretty crowded with like broken isles and kul'tiran and everything kind of merging into each other.
Let me show the main world map after this one as well. There we go. Yeah, so in this map you can probably see where Zandalar and kul'tiran is in reference, or in relevance to where everywhere else is.
Something I find interesting for the continent maps is the monuments they choose to add with artwork to the things. So in Nazmir, you have the little triangle thing, which, you know, seems like that's going to be the Uldur raid. And then kul'tiran is interesting. We're going to cover this really soon in the lore spoilers, but there's this like building structure, and then there's this creepy looking tree. And I think that's related to the whole like Drust lore and the Drust magic, which is, you know, tied to the Drustvar plot, as well as, you know, where the Druids get their magic from, as well as some of the Jaina story that we'll be covering very soon.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very nice find. It is indeed very interesting when you look at a zone map and then you see that certain parts of the map are, you know, being visible from a sort of bird's eye view.
Like Borealis doesn't have anything, but this little town in Drustvar does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, like, why is this so important? Why is this being highlighted?
Yep.
All right. Well, so those were the visual updates for now that we got to show you guys. We're going to move on to some broadcast texts, which means that we need the spoiler. Let me get it here. There. The tag is up. So anyone who does not want any kind of story spoilers, lore spoilers to do with BFA, you could, I don't know, go stretch your legs or get a glass of water and drink it somewhere else. Or just mute the stream and change tab or anything like that. And once the spoilers are done, the tag will be down. Do keep in mind, though, during any kind of pictures, the tag may not be visible, but it should be visible here when you see us.
Yep.
I'm already spoiled with lore, feels bad.
Aww.
Yeah, so let's get straight into it. So the first topic here that we have is that we have now found out more about the Magyar Orcs recruitment scenario.
Yeah, this is a controversial one because it has basically turned Warlords of Draenor lore upside down.
It's always so confusing with these alternate universes. So yeah. So what do we know here?
Okay, so previously we've learned that, I'm going to butcher his name, Eitrig, is that how you say it?
I think I would say Eitrig, yeah.
Okay, Eitrig has this idea to recruit the Magyar Orcs to the Horde, and Sylvanas still has a little shard of the fragment that Garrosh used to open it, and she opens the portal to go back to Draenor, and Eitrig is remembering the pact that the citizens made, which was, you know, if your main timeline ever needs help, we will be able to grant it to you. So we go back there, and everything is topsy-turvy. I mean, keep in mind, this is just from the perspective of the Magyar Orcs, so we'd be missing a huge amount of context. But from the perspectives of the Magyar Orcs, it's now 35 years later in their timeline. They are being hunted by a group of Draenei called the Lightbound, which is trying to force everyone to worship the light. And it seems like it's the fanatical kind of dark parallel to the Lightforged Draenei. And we've learned that even at the end of World of Draenor, how the Draenei and Orcs pledged to work side by side after after there were no more Legion and demons to destroy, the Draenei have decided that everyone should follow the light. And the Magyar Orcs don't agree with that, which we'll get into a little bit. So that is where we are. We have gotten hints that Yrel might be the High Exarch of the Lightbound or involved in some way, because there's dialogue saying that Drell, I have failed you. Your High Exarch cannot save you. And that's interesting because, people really liked her in Warlords, and maybe a possible explanation is that did she get very absorbed into the light without the guidance of Velen trying to temper things? Because the zealousness seems really similar to Zira and Illidan. So maybe she didn't have like a moderating force to keep her, feelings in check, and now she is consumed too much by the light. We've learned that Durotan and Draka in this timeline have a daughter, Gayara, instead of a son, Thrall. We've learned that Durotan was killed by the Lightbound, and Draka runs a garrison. Another controversial point, that Durotan was killed off screen.
Mm-hmm.
Grommash is the war chief of the United Mag'har tribes. And a line says that his son in this timeline has joined the Lightbound, and that has spawned tons of memes that, like, the AU equivalent of Garrosh is Lightbound, so, like, Garrosh Holy Scream, Garrosh Heaven Scream.
Garrosh Paladin.
Yep. And we also have a lot of battle cries of the Lightbound that really echo Zira's fanaticism, like, the light will heal all scars, like, no, I am my scars. So we've gotten kind of a interesting reversal of the main timeline, where instead of the orcs enslaving the Draenei are now trying to force everyone to worship the light, which is also interesting because, if you look at Yrel's perspective, she was enslaved. The Iron Horde were trying to terrorize everyone. Grommash Hellscream was sort of incited by Garrosh to unite the tribes and mess up everything in Warlords. And it's like, well, why wouldn't she want people to follow the light instead of the guy who kind of created the whole problem in Warlords? It's never really been explained why Grommash suddenly becomes our friend. He was originally meant to be the final boss of Warlords, and they changed that to Archimonde. So you can kind of see how maybe from the Lightbound perspective, they're like, yeah, the Mag'har kind of tried to kill all of us, and you told us in the main timeline that they killed us, so we're trying not to have them in check so we can all survive. So there might be an unreliable narrator here. And I think it's also interesting how, the equivalent of Garrosh is still kind of doing something shocking. In the main timeline, Garrosh was going too far with Orc supremacy, and now he's going the opposite direction of going too far by abandoning the Mag'har. Like, he still has this perspective of, like, this race above all.
Garrosh stays Garrosh.
Yep. And in the main timeline, we saw how, Illidan pushed back against Zira, and how Velen follows the light, but, understands all perspectives. But it seems in this AU timeline, the light has been more unchecked. But, like I just said, the Draenei in this AU timeline have very good reason not to trust the Mag'har orcs because of, what they were trying to do to them, and also what they probably learned happened to them, with their skulls paving the way in Hellfire Citadel, and they really do not want that to happen again, obviously. So that's a lot to take in. Maybe we will learn more soon. I know a lot of people are really upset about Yrel, and I kind of understand, because she was a really cool character in Warlords, and her plot was always very positive, and she seemed to be like making really good choices and like rising through the ranks. So it does seem really sudden that she would maybe turn evil, or maybe it's like, again, showing like, oh, the orcs are just kind of, the orcs are not seeing the full picture of things, and, like, we've obviously seen the Alliance and Horde blowing things up and not being totally rational, so is this, history playing itself in the same way? People, purposely miscommunicating, or, putting their pride above trying to work things out.
I noticed that, as someone commented in the chat, that if I do put Perk as her own screen, the spoiler tag is not there, but now that's fixed. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yep.
So now it should not be surprising if you suddenly be like, oh wait, the spoiler tag is gone. No, we're still talking about it.
Yep. So Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. What are your thoughts on this scenario? I know I talked about maybe the orcs are wrong, or yeah, it's really sad Duratown, got hacked and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think honestly, like, yeah, having it. I think it's really interesting to see the alternate timeline kind of having like, I guess, in a way, parallels almost, like interesting things that are happening in both places, but in different forms. So, for example, with Garrosh, and then the parallel between Errol. Did you call it Errol?
Yeah.
Errol and Zara.
Yeah.
Like, I think those things make it really interesting to see the different timelines.
Yep. So I just hope the scenario is treated with subtlety, because they've really changed a lot. People thought Warlords ended a certain way, and now if this goes through how it is, it really twists things. I know a lot of people were really hoping that Uriel would make appearance maybe as part of the. She was the one that told Khadgar that she would offer her assistance. So people are like, oh, we thought she was going to come back instead of getting, like, the orcs, which hate the Lightforge, and Lightforge hates them. So, I don't know. It'd still be interesting to have her be part of the plot moving forward, because she was a really cool character.
Yeah.
One final note I want to mention, a lot of the Warlord story was cut, and, like, quests were changed in the alpha, but if you go onto the character page for her, it says that she harbors a dark secret, and it could, like, for better or worse, like, there's a lot in her future. And apparently at one point in testing, she was calling Velen her uncle. So I know people are like, oh, was she, the daughter or a relative of, like, Archimonde or Kil'jaeden? Like, maybe she has, like, a thirst for power, and that's why, they made a deal with Sargeras, and, like, she maybe makes a deal with, the light, and, she's a great leader, but then something happens to her. But, that was never explored in Warlords. It's just this one sentence we have on the Blizzard page, and then the old alpha dialogue. So if there is something going on with her, then Blizzard should have, like, a sentence, in the scenario explaining that, because it does seem kind of out of character for her. Like, she was very heroic and level-headed throughout all of Warlords, and now it's like, her forces killed Duratan. It's like, well, of course people are going to be unhappy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely leaves some space to have some more info on that, to see what actually happens, to understand her better.
Yep.
And I also noticed that Brightpaw is making a little visit.
Yep. Hello, cat.
Brightpaw is like, can we talk about cats again?
I know. We talked about cats last week in the broadcast text, Brightpaw. If you forgot, last week there was a Nightborn that really likes cats.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
I think Brightpaw was happy about that.
No.
So there's so much.
He just opened up Siri voice chat. I was about to start having everything I'm saying echoed onto the computer. Okay.
Yeah, you also lagged out there for a second, but I think it's okay now.
Okay. Well, at least Brightpaw is cute.
That's why he's excused.
Yep. But we also have some Alliance lore spoilers. Yeah, not to get too sidetracked by the macro, I could talk about it for a really long time.
Yeah, because there's so much. Like, there's so much info there. Like, there's so much meat to chew. And
right. Like,
the fact that it's a different...
meets, like, alternate Thrall, I guess.
Yeah, how would that work?
Yeah, there was this... I think we showed on the screen how Eitrigg is like, hey, in my timeline, Grommash, like, you died as a hero. And Grommash is like, oh, in my time, Eitrigg, like... you died early on, and they're like, well, so, like, in the other timeline, we're dead already, so this is kind of weird how we're, like, old ghosts talking to each other in this very, very weird setup.
Yeah, I've got it showing now as well.
Yeah. Like, Warlords, we'll get to it in the Wowhead section, but there's so much story that was either cut or only covered in a comic or in a book, and I almost feel like you could have had a whole patch just on that extra story. Or at least some cinematics on it, because it was actually a kind of interesting story if you didn't have to read a 300-page book to understand, like, why the portal was opened.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm kind of feeling sad for the expansion now. I think it could have had more potential if we learned about Uriel's dark secret and Garrosh and Grommash bonding actually on the screen, and seeing the portal open there, and war crimes, and then like maybe a mid-Shattrath raid and some development, but we didn't get any of that, so that is, you know, too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll come later.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like, actually, we're gonna go back and revisit the Lightbound in patch 8.2, and
you never know. You never know. Because of the Vagar orcs, that we might actually have a reason to do that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, if we move on to Alliance, we've got some more updates on Catherine and Jaina. So one of the main things here that happened is that we all knew, or Catherine thought, that Jaina was just simply exiled, but it turns out that Ashrain actually moved Jaina to a place that basically meant death. Right. And Catherine had no idea of this.
Right. So Ashrain got the pirates from Freehold that she's working together with to take over Borealis to send Jaina to a place called Fate's End. And we are learning that basically Fate's End is this place that you cannot reach unless a tide sage helps you get there. And there is this forest, Thros the Blighted Lands, which is a magical forest powered by the ancient like Drizzt death magic, which is calling all the corruption in Dristvar, where essentially your like greatest fears and regrets are used against you to torture you. Yep. So Jaina is taken to this place, and she is hearing all of these voices like reprimanding her with stuff, and Catherine now has had the realization that Ashrain is trying to betray her, and that she understands like why Jaina acted how she did, and she is now like trying desperately to find Jaina and go into this very risky area along with our help to rescue her. So I think some of the dialogue we're showing on the screen is explaining why Thros the Blighted Lands is such a dangerous place. You need a special effigy to enter it, and how like nobody actually wants to take you to Fate's End because it's so dangerous. And then we actually get some dialogue even of what happens in Thros the Blighted Lands. So if we have the hide and seek dialogue, if you look at that, these mirror images of tormenting Jaina said, "Oh, you left us to die. You could have stopped him." And Jaina's mom is like, "No, like you're the pride of kul'tiran, her power and fury. We can't save everyone, Jaina. Oh, she's still hiding. We're just fighting her illusions." And the really interesting part is the Into the Mirror section, because Dalen Proudmoore, her father, Varian, and Ronan, these malicious images are all tormenting her. So Dalen is tormenting her for her decision to help the Horde, which essentially caused his death in the war with Theramore, which he did because like he was inciting it with just like being very racist. Varian is berating Jaina for trying to have peace when Varian wanted to end the Horde. And then Ronan, who saved Jaina with the Theramore bombing, is basically saying that she was unfit to lead the Kirin Tor. So, all of these moments where Jaina had to make tough calls from her past are all now haunting her, and Catherine is trying to show that she cares, and that, Catherine's like, yeah, now I've realized that your father made the wrong choices, and, it's okay that you have feelings and regrets, but don't have them consume you. And together with Catherine, we are able to defeat the Herald of Garak Tul, who is the... Garak Tul is the kind of, like, entity of the Droost that Waycrest Manor is trying to summon back, and that's why all these horrible things are happening in Droostvar. And I think also Droost magic is powering the kul'tiran druids. So anyway... He's kind of a big deal if he messed up the Droostvar plot, is being summoned in Waycrest Manor, and is also in charge of this tainted forest. So we have to defeat one of his heralds to save Jaina. They reconcile, and then, oh look, it's the Siege of Borealis, so then Jaina and her mom don't really have time to celebrate. They have to start working to prevent the siege side by side.
I found these texts really interesting because we got to see how Catherine can understand Jaina. And it all goes back to, the idea of initially, like, what? Like, she's being exiled by her mother? Like, what's going on? Like, it's her own mother. She just got sent out. And here, especially when she saw the different like illusions and images that Jaina was going through, you know, seeing her what's the word, the regrets and like the bad thoughts that is going around in her head, and seeing how Catherine is now understanding her, I think that was really nice to see. Actually, it was a very nice sort of character development that we got to, or that we will technically that we will discover. It's funny because we're talking about something which is in the next expansion, so technically it hasn't happened yet. But yeah, I think that was really special, actually.
I really like her character development as well, because so many times, like, you see people be stubborn and then it horribly blows up.
Yeah.
And Catherine is getting more reasonable as the expansion seems to go on. Mm-hmm. And it adds more depth to Jaina as well, because a lot of Jaina's turmoil, like, her events have taken place off screen, like, you know, Dale and Proudmoore. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, in War Crimes, it's like she has to testify that Garrosh blew up her city, and then he escaped and also tried to assassinate her. Like, all of these very traumatic character-defining moments have either not happened in game, or they've happened in game years ago, and all characters think of, like, is like, wow, like, why does Jaina seem really agitated? And it's like, well, she's been through a lot. So I think in this scenario, you can see how she's had to make really tough choices. And I think it's also really noble how she's a really talented mage, but someone suggested this in the comments, and I really liked it, that she didn't just decide to, like, blow up Ashvane and, like, ice block them and, you know, port out. She decided that if it would be better for the Alliance, that she would decide to be exiled, you know, and kind of sacrifice herself to help with relations between the Alliance and kul'tiran. So I think that was very noble of her.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was really nice to see this from a point of view of her mother as well. And I think I don't think we showed a broadcast text of it here, but there was a part where Catherine is talking to the people as well to explain why she is suddenly, like, on her daughter's side, because, you know, she's a traitor. And it was nice to see that sort of her explaining to people of why she thinks it's okay to forgive people in a way.
Right. And other parts, people are like, oh, like, you can't go here, Catherine, it's like death. And she's like, well, I'm going here because, you know, this can't be worse than, you know, what I put my daughter through, and I have to stand with her.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And it's a nice improvement over King Rastakhan, who's just like, wow, I really screwed up. My daughter was right. Now I'm super weakened, and I'll just, like, meditate off screen a little bit.
Meditate off screen. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I think that covers the Alliance broadcast texts for now, and we could move on to the next part, which is something that we talked about last week, actually. So we're talking about different broadcast texts that we weren't sure who is saying what, and now we have a bit more of confirmed characters to see exactly who is saying what. Let me get those up.
Right. So this shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but it's nice to have it officially stated.
Confirmed, yeah.
Yep. So, let's see. Yeah, so it looks like it's basically how we predicted. Sylvanas and Malfurion are fighting. Saurfang has some sort of dishonorable accidental blow on Malfurion, which defeats him. Sylvanas tells Saurfang to finish Malfurion off, and he won't do that because it was dishonorable. So Tyran then finds Malfurion, and Saurfang recommends that they escape. Tyran at first is like, oh, I could kill you right now, and Saurfang's like, well, you better escape because, you know, the war is basically lost, and if you want to survive, you should go into hiding and not... you know, Tudor Nazis, which is about to, you know, go up in flames.
Mm-hmm. I showed the text in the wrong order, but here, the one that you see now is when Malfurion meets Tyrande with Saurfang, and I'll show you the first text as well with the correct characters now there. Yep. So you can see that it's Saurfang who says, a dishonorable blow, I regret it. Which is, it was something that we discussed already, and we already kind of suspected that it would be Saurfang that we're talking about, since he's been so much about, you know, doing things with the right honor, and this seemed like something that he would say.
Yep. So, yeah, also we didn't show this on the screen, but we also have confirmed that Mia Greymane decided to help Darnassus because the Night Elves helped the Worgen, and that she's trying to help people evacuate, but the Night Elves are being really stubborn, and they don't want to. I don't know, maybe the Night Elves are trying to, like... It seems that the priestess are having some sort of spell that is helping people escape, and she's trying to tell them that it's too late and they have to go, and they're still trying to save people. And it seems that she's injured at some point, and Gen is obviously very upset about this. Yeah, we also got confirmation that Sylvanas, said that the attack was meant to end a war before it began, to destroy an enemy's home and their leaders in one stroke. So there's not a lot of wiggle room that, maybe Sylvanas tried to hurt them but not blow up the city, or it was like not her doing this, it was like an old god or like someone doing something out of spite. Is like, nope, that's what she is actually saying, that the point was to kill everyone and destroy Tel'Grissel. Yeah. So the burning down of the tree was not enough, even. Right. Yeah, so she's like, basically this was not a total success because the leaders are alive. Yeah. So, pretty heavy stuff there. It's nice to have it confirmed. I think we suspected a lot of these things, but it is nice to have it 100% confirmed with the names and everything. So that's awesome. Yeah. I think that wraps up the broadcast text section, which means the spoiler tag can now be removed. Yep. There we go. So if there's anyone who is kind of like peeking at the screen, just waiting for, welcome back. We're waving so you can see us, like, hello, you can now unmute us. You can safely come back and we will not spoil any more lore to you. You are safe in our hands. The first topic to cover, actually, as our next thing, is more on towards the fun things. So we have a few new items, and let me show you the first one. Here. This pet is something that we have seen in the past, the model itself, but we didn't really know what it was. We called it, I believe we called it the demonic baby goat. Yeah, it was like Argy, the shop mount, but kind of demonic. Yeah. And now we know that this is a magic pet, confirmed, and it's called, is it called Ball? Yeah, that is one of the main characters from Diablo, so maybe people are thinking it's some sort of tie-in. Haven't heard much Diablo news recently, so. Yeah, so not much is known about it, but at least we know that it's a confirmed pet that everyone can have. And I see some people saying gross and kill it. It's adorable. Look at those eyes. It's so cute. I mean, it's a little bit demonic, I suppose, but I think it's cute. Yeah, it makes really cute it has very cute animations. I think it's cute. Yeah, I think it's cute as well. Yeah. I like it. The second item that we have here is a transmog, a new ensemble. Is that the correct way of pronouncing that? Yeah, the ensemble. Vestments of the Tide Sages. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was ensemble or like ensemble. Yep, ensemble. Ensemble. And there it is. So it gives you the appearance of a Tide Sage. And do we know anything else about this item? We don't really. The image we're showing is what we think it will look like based on a boss with that model, but the ensemble itself is not. It's missing a belt right now, and the shoulders are messed up on Blizzard's end, so if you are wondering why it doesn't look perfect in the dressing room, it's Blizzard's fault, not ours. This sounds like it could be like the Shrine of the Storm, or like a Storm Song Valley thing, because that's where the Tide Sages are, but we don't know anything about this, just that this ensemble has appeared and it looks very cool. The hat especially, and the shoulders. Yeah. It does look cool. Yeah, especially the hat, actually. Yep. We also have two interesting toys. One was very popular with the broadcast text. We have Holly's Hot and Spicy Chili. Causes you to glow from heat and leave flames in your wake. And then we have hot buttered popcorn, which it's a typo, but it's munch on some popcorn.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
And the source is from the Dark Moon Fair for 50 tickets. And, you know, of course, cue all the memes that, oh, with this broadcast text, we need some hot buttered popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
So, not a ton of new items, but they, you know, the ones that we got were pretty interesting. There's also some crafting items. We don't know too much about them yet, but there's some epic crafting reagents called Sanguicell and Naga Blast.
I'm looking forward to the Howley's hot and spicy chili because I wanna see how that looks like.
Yeah,
it says causes you to glow.
Summer stuff.
Oh yeah. Ooh, and imagine being in Dark Eindorf with this.
Oh, that would be cool. But I wonder if it works cross faction. You have to buy that in Zuldazar.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I think there are toys in the game already that you can only get for one faction, but then I think you can use it on both.
Yeah, I think some of them are. I guess if there was something that gave you a big horde symbol, it's like, oh,
yeah,
well,
that wouldn't make sense. Yeah. But this one might work. Yeah, it leaves flames in your wake.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that sounds cool. I want to see how that looks like.
Yep.
We also got some new PvP updates from Blizzard themselves, right?
Yeah, so the parts of the system are starting to be tested or very soon will be tested. First up, we have a blue post going over PvP and itemization. Basically, we can't test this yet, but what's coming is there is a new ranking system where we're keeping the WoW terms like, you know, Challenger and Duelist, but there's also going to be another ranking system using the terminology you're familiar with for other Blizzard games like Gold and Platinum. Now, to go along with the ranking systems, Blizzard is changing how the item level increases based on your competitive standing, and it will be spread out differently to essentially be higher the higher you rank, more so than Legion, and it will correspond more to the new ranks and cutoff points. There was also a lot of controversy surrounding the Season 5 and 6 ensembles that, you know, people earned it ages ago and they couldn't buy the ensemble because Season 7 was still going on and, like, we're waiting a year. So Blizzard says that in Battle for Azeroth, different rewards are tied to different rankings. So instead of everything available for 2000 ranking at the end of the season, you can earn the stuff at different rankings throughout Battle for Azeroth and use it for transmog instantly.
Yeah, I like that change. Yeah. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Instead of having to wait for the next season.
And also weekly conquest. There will be a conquest system where you can earn conquest from PvP activities, from like rated stuff, but also war modes, and that increases your weekly bar, and when you hit the bar, you can get some sort of reward. And the Great Mew 83 was asking, is there any info on how much conquest we will get in BFA for casual battlegrounds? We don't know, but probably not that much if they're saying the focus of conquest is rated and war mode.
I find it really interesting to have a change in the ranking system. So I think what they're going to do is they'll still give you the titles, right? The Duelist and similar that we're used to. So that's not going to change. But when you open up your like arena interface, what it will show you is in what bracket you are. I find that really interesting. And apparently the gear rewards that you get will also depend on what kind of bracket that you're in.
Right.
And on top of what you mentioned with, of course, having better gear rewarding for the better rating. Because I think the PvP system for gear was actually really bad before. Like, people were getting, like, really bad gear as rewards. Like, it would be very unusual to actually get an to get an upgrade from playing PvP, and it seems like this will make it a lot better. So that's interesting. I do wonder if the new brackets, if they will have any other kind of changes that will affect the game, or if it's just going to simply be like, okay, you get this bracket because you reached this rating. Oh yeah, I think I read another thing as well. In the interface, they want it to be visible to players to see.
Oh yeah, they have little like sword and shields of different colors and like details. So the higher one is fancier looking.
Okay, yeah.
Which is, it's very similar to Prestige, I think. You know, like currently if you're in a PvP area, you have your yeah, your avatar looks fancier.
Mm-hmm. There was another thing as well. It would tell you what ranking you are in the world or something, or in the region.
Yeah.
Probably in the region.
Right.
So it would
Yeah.
say like number 10, and that could be really interesting for people too, to be able to see that without, you know, having to go on the website to check the leaderboards, to just see it straight away. Like, hey, you know, I'm actually rank 5 in Europe right now, or rank 5 in the US, or wherever you play.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we also got information on war modes, which is kind of the new world PvP system.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, in a capital city, you can enable certain PvP talents. The first row is like a PvP trinket, and the rest are basically your Legion Honor talents. And then you go out in the world, and you are kind of permanently in PvP mode, but you get the use of all those extra honor talents no matter what, if you're just doing world quests or fighting someone. You get a 15 experience boost, and at max level, you also get 10% extra rewards from world quests like gold and artifact power.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm hoping to see a reputation bonus for max level.
I wonder what will happen. I mean, I'll have to check that, but I mean, if a reward from a world quest is a rep bonus, it would make sense to get more rep. Or like, what happens if the reward is a token? Do you get like a baby reputation token?
That's a good question, yeah. Yeah, I'm really hoping it would give some kind of reputation. I think that would make it worth, especially for someone like me or anyone who is interested in, you know, collection, or whether it is to reach a certain reputation, to unlock something. I think having that extra incentive, I think, would make PvP more like interesting for people to pick.
Yeah.
Because 10% world quest, like, I mean, okay, instead of 500 gold, you get 550. Like, I don't know if people would find that a good enough reason to change to PvP.
Right. I think that the experience leveling up could be interesting because
Yeah, that one is good.
most of the story, I mean, I could be wrong with how war mode work, but I think basically if you're just questing in your own continent, like, you're not going to be really fighting a lot of
No, not
the
necessarily.
opposite factions, so
No.
that could just, it could kind of be like a taste, like, oh, look, isn't this so fun? You're leveling, you got all these extra talents, and then when you're max level, it's like, well, this is harder now, but oh, I'm so used to having all these extra talents, and that's like, oh, well, you know, well, maybe I got kind of good at PvP, so I'll try keeping this on, even though it's more challenging. And I mean, I'm sure they assume people will, you know, drop off, but at least this encourages people to at least try out the, you know, UI bar and get some free experience.
That's true. I mean, people who don't play a lot of PvP may have never actually made use of the talents, and now they could potentially actually get used to them. Like, play with them so much that they get used to them in, like, regular gameplay.
Yep.
Yeah.
This part of the notes I just added in really briefly. Around the time we started the show, the GCD is a hot topic. Blizzard made a few changes a few days ago, like taking Symbols of Death off the GCD, and they just announced now that in an upcoming beta build is, you know, we agree that having racials on the GCD isn't feeling great, having to press multiple buttons that don't do anything isn't engaging. In an upcoming beta build, we'll be taking racials and unused trinkets back off of the GCD.
Interesting. All unused trinkets.
Yep.
Okay.
And in the linked article, we have a link to comprehensive list added in the GCD that has Ian's, like, 10-paragraph reply as to why these changes were made, and then the latest changes, like Fist of White Tiger and Pharaoh Lunge from this week, and then an entire list of all past abilities. So. We also may be doing a state of the beta feature on the GCD. Have to see how that's working out, because we've gotten through all 12 classes now, so we're looking for, you know, a new round of topics to highlight from the community each week. And yeah, we've got Uldir to talk about. Uldir's pretty cool.
Got a lot of very cool pictures. A lot of screenshots from the raid testing, which was last week Friday, was it?
It was 3 days last week. It was 2 bosses each day, and then starting this Friday, the final boss, Cahoon, and another boss will be tested, and then it'll be open for normal mode throughout the entire weekend. Gotcha.
So I'll start off with a slideshow showing Talok.
We also have a preview from Fat Boss of Talok. He's the first boss, but he's a little more challenging. Also, one of his phases is an elevator, so that's immediately...
Wait, that's part of the fight?
Yeah, there's an elevator. So everyone...
Oh, like, that's amazing.
Man. Like, this boss is so difficult. First boss of DFA.
Oh, God. The bosses in the games are learning, guys. They realize that we are dying to elevators, so they're like, you know what? Let me have the elevator as a weapon. That's funny.
Yeah, the Antorus one was amazing how like, the elevator would actually crush you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've died to that a lot of times. To be fair to myself, though, most of those times is because someone swap blasts me into it, but still.
Yeah.
Still. Oh, that's going to be interesting. Part of the actual boss fight.
Yep.
Cool. The next boss that we have some screenshots of here is Mother, or Mother.
Yep. It's an abbreviation for something very Titan sounding, but she's not evil. She's like a Titan researcher, and we have to like pass her challenge, and then she tells us a ton of useful stuff about the raid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We actually went through the text for this a few weeks, maybe even months ago by now. So she's basically telling us how to, what was it, to reach the core?
Yeah, and she's telling us stuff like, this is what this boss does, and like, this is why Kun is evil, and she even has a joke that she's going through the Titan research files, and the Titans have like billions of norgabytes of selfies and music files and cat pictures.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's funny. Next boss coming up here is Vectis. Yep. A lot of these pictures are very red.
Yeah.
What do we know about Vectis?
He is a corrupted fragment of the experiment blood. So the Titans were trying to create mutant strains of things, and he's one of the mutant strains, and you can see the Titan influence in the faces on the sides, which is cool because you've got the Titan thing, but you've also got the weird, creepy blood stuff going on. It's a interesting fusion of stuff.
Yep. And here you see a perfect image of the whole thing.
Yep.
The next boss up here is Mithrax.
Yep. Without getting too much into spoilers, Mithrax is someone we encounter in a previous zone, and you can see it looks very old god Thraxy, so obviously it's not good news that Mithrax is alive and well.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks
probably
very
leave it at
scary.
That. Yep. Yep. Next boss is the Fetid Devourer. Which is here.
Fat Boss in the video preview said that this boss was kind of like the very fast-paced, kill this boss very quickly. We don't know too much about this yet. It kind of reminds me of like the Chimera bosses we've seen in like Trial of Valor and Blackwing Descent. Let's see. Yeah, I mean his room's kind of cool.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of the pictures are actually the environmental ones.
Yep.
And next up, we got Zul.
Yep. So
the one and only Zul. Finally got to meet him in person. What is that circular, like, it's like a circular blood effect on the ground that he does?
So that probably is blood because we have data mined a blood Zul model where like all the gems and details on his armor is red instead of blue. So that is likely related to what's going on with him at some point. And if you've been following along, obviously Zul's been a major figure throughout. We haven't actually seen him, but he's always doing something bad in expansions, like Mist of Pandaria or Cataclysm. So it makes sense that we are seeing him here. And again, if you want to know more spoilers, we've covered in the storylines how he ends up here. But I don't think anyone is surprised that someone who was causing so much chaos in past expansions is also a boss.
Yep. And next up is Zekvoz.
Yep, Herald of N'Zoth. So we've got some cool old god. We got some cool like discs of time on the side. Pretty interesting lighting. And he also does not look very friendly. Also looks like a kind of corrupted, angry bug. And again, N'Zoth, which, you know, hint, hint, because, you know, Ashara is doing stuff with N'Zoth, and we know that she will be a boss, so this is, you know, kind of, even though the storyline came from the Blood Trolls, Blizzard is trying to tie this back to the old gods, who I think will be a threat later on in the expansion.
Yep. And that covers all the pictures for the different specific bosses. And there's also a bunch of screenshots that just shows Uldir in general. And a lot of these pictures are actually really cool. They look really beautiful. This one might not be the best picture. Like this one. I think this one looks amazing. Like those things from the walls, are those waterfalls?
So I think the stuff, I think there are waterfalls. So like we're kind of in this sunken area, and there's this weird like death webby stuff where the sky is, but then we have the waterfalls all cascading towards the center.
Looks really cool. I like it.
Yeah, I like the gigantic like face thing we see in the center. That's pretty cool. I think that appears later on in the instance, because in some of the pictures we don't have the face, and then it appears later on.
Interesting. So it's like an environmental change after you do something.
Yep.
Interesting. We also have a preview of a creepy goon voiceover.
Oh, it's so creepy. Yeah.
So let me play this for you guys. I'll play it as these screenshots are going off.
Yep.
The rot runs through your veins. Let it spread. Seek out your allies. Share my gift. Let the hunger take you. Feed on their blood. My whispers will liquefy your
And in case you'd like a little reminder of how Goon looks like, here's his model. For better immersion. So you can really imagine where the voice is from.
I exist. I feed on your terror. The Titans cannot see.
Alright, I stopped it there. I can't actually hear it, so I do apologize if I stopped it at like the most interesting part. But hopefully you got a good idea of how Goon sounds like, and it's very creepy.
It's really personalized creepy, like it's not like, you will die, but it's like, I'm the twitch in your spine.
Yeah.
It's really unsettling.
It's not just one line, it's like a whole story.
Yep. And then there's the weird like overlay of the old god whisperings going on, and he sounds like he's gurgling blood. It's so creepy.
That's so true. It does sound like gurgling blood. Oh god. Now you just gave me more info on it, or like a more detailed picture.
Yep.
Thanks, Perk. But it is really creepy. Which is great. I mean, I love that for this kind of game. It gives like a better feeling, you know, going into meeting up with Goon in the future sometime.
Yeah.
I think that covers all the raid stuff, actually.
Yep, as a reminder, Gahoon will finally be up for testing, so we can hear the creepy voice lines in action tomorrow. And then normal mode will be open for testing the whole weekend.
Okay, good to know.
Yep.
Good to know. Is Goon going to be the final boss?
Yeah, so there's 8 bosses. He's the final one. No word on any mythic only stuff. Maybe there'll be some mythic only phases. So yeah, it will be exciting to finally see him, because everyone is like, is he a blood god? Well, if he's a blood god, is he related to Hakar? No. Well, is he an old god, or do they just call him that as like a sign of reverence? So there's a lot of mystery surrounding who he actually is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be nice to learn more about. Moving on, we're touching the topic of transmog, and we have a Reddit user called Sirgrand who discovered on the beta that if you transmog your weapons to one of the 3 artifact weapons that have whispers going on, so in this case, Luneth, Thalkil, and Zalata, hopefully I said that correctly, you will continue hearing the whispers. I think that's really cool. I'm glad that Blizzard actually kept that going for those people who have those weapons.
Yeah, and you can collect these weapons after Legion and then transmog to them. The only thing you can't get with them after Legion is the base Mage Challenge appearance, as well as the plus 15 Mythic Tint.
Yep. So if you're planning an ult in the future, you don't have to worry about picking up the artifact weapon quickly, like you can do it later, unless of course you're interested in those that will be removed. Then you might want to get started to start farming those. I know that a lot of people are actually farming the Mage Tower skins. With farming, I mean trying to or starting to do them on ults. It's a great idea. It's a good time to do that now. If you are geared for Taurus, you should be more than enough geared to be able to do it on all of your ults. I have done it myself on, what is it now? Red Paladin, Prot Paladin, Feral Druid, and I think one more.
Oh, the Feral skin's really cool.
Yeah, Feral Druid artifact skin, Mage Tower. If you have not seen it yet, go check it out. If you have seen it, go get it before it's gone. It looks amazing. Speaking of druids, yes, I did the protection druid one as well. Or guardian, sorry, not protection.
Yeah.
I'm not a druid. I'm sorry for getting the word wrong. Please don't punish me. The guardian druid one, because it's a unique look. So, you know, I love things that look very unique, and that one is unique, so I went for that one as well. But my feral druid one is definitely my favorite. And I think I'm going to go for some other ones as well. I do have some other ults at 110 that are okay geared. So I was thinking of maybe getting the warrior one, maybe the mage one, and the priest one as well.
And as a reminder, you can get, if you get the base tint now, you can get all the other tints in Battle for Azeroth. You don't need to get those in Legion. You just need to get the base one now in Legion, and then unlock the rest whenever. So.
Wait, you can't get the base. Oh, you mean the base of the Mage Tower one.
Right, so like you don't need to do the RBG one in Legion to transmog to get, like, you could get the RBG one, like, I don't know, 2 months into BFA, and then when you unlock that, you can transmog it because you already had the base one within the time frame.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, that's true. I do actually still need to do the RBGs on my druid to get the other tints as well, but yeah, no stress, no time stress with that. At least I can do that whenever I want to. Maybe I decide to do it in, I don't know, 5 years. Maybe 5 months. We'll see. Yeah.
Our final BFA topic is an interview that just popped up with PC Games N. It was an interview with production director John Haidt, and there were very interesting points related to the allied races and general Battle for Azeroth story. Some stuff I found interesting was that the expansion plots are developed 2 to 3 expansions in advance. Battle for Azeroth after Legion is especially interesting because we finally get to explore what happens when we don't have a big bad guy in the center like the Burning Legion, and we kind of become our worst enemy.
Yep.
And we also learned that there are 2 distinct teams. One works on the Alliance story and one works on the Horde story, and they meet regularly to make sure that they are all synced up. And they have those people working on the content really early, so testers can play through the game and catch issues like pacing concerns quickly. So, you know, all that's pretty interesting. But what people really were interested in commenting about were the discussion on the allied races. We learned interesting stuff like Blizzard thought maybe the Zandalari trolls could be available before BFA, but decided that they would unlock later because, you know, we haven't really earned their trust, and I think that's the good choice because it makes sense story-wise why they kind of they're very standoffish. They decided that instead of having an allied race for each orc clan, it was better to merge them into one, because when you put armor on an orc, they all kind of look very similar with the same silhouette, so it would be hard to justify having, like, the, you know, Blackrock allied race and then, like, the Warsong allied race, so that's why they're all together. And the most controversial thing was someone said people are already discussing the potential for races that haven't even been announced. What's the long-term plan? And the Blizzard said something like, people are pretty good at trying to data mine what's out there. What's funny, though, is that sometimes we'll put some of this data out, but without the intention of immediately unlocking it. So people are like, does that mean that, they uploaded Vulpera and we'll be getting that, later instead of
very much later? Yeah.
Right. Or like, who else could be an allied race in the files? So
that's a really good point. So that means, sorry guys, we're not going to get Vulpera soon, but it's almost confirmed for further in the future instead.
Yeah. One more note. I think we've speculated about this in the past. So the interview says, while different factions may win and lose various battles in BFA, Blizzard doesn't want the end of the expansion plot to make players feel like they've chosen the wrong faction. And I know in the Before the Storm updated blurb, we were discussing that, wouldn't it be crazy if, faction boundaries were dissolved at one point, because the blurb was making it seem like we're just going to keep destroying each other, and that peace and setting aside stuff is the only way to survive, being corrupted by Azerite. So that would be interesting if it's now there aren't factions, so you don't feel like you've chosen the wrong one, or I don't know, it's hinting that something is going to happen with factions at the end of BFA.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, one of the ideas that we had was, for example, maybe a sort of faction-neutral raid or similar, where both sides actually work together instead of always going against each other.
And that would get rid of all the concerns of oh, they got the cool allied race, and I didn't get that. My faction had their town burned down, and I got the boring allied race. So very interesting. As usual, full interview is up on PC Games End, and we have a summary up on the site, as well as linked in the show notes article if you want to read more there. And yeah, I think that's about it. Our next topic, it's
a very interesting thing that happened. You guys may have heard of this already. It's been on the news everywhere. It's been on my Twitter feed everywhere as well. But there was a World of Warcraft player who actually went into jail for DDoS attacks.
Yep.
So this guy was from Romania, and apparently he decided to use these DDoS attacks against other raiders, even people within his raid groups, because of looting distribution and similar. And I think it's crazy that something like this became so serious that it meant jail.
Yeah, he was also ordered to pay $30,000 in restitution to Blizzard Entertainment to compensate the company for labor costs associated with countering the computer attacks.
Yeah.
So...
And also, an interesting thing to note is that this was back in 2010. So it's not even a new thing. It's a really old thing that happened a long time ago, and the process, I guess, has been going on, which is not new. Court is normally very slow with things like this. And it's now that he actually gets punished for it by having to go into jail. Yeah.
Also, it seems he already has faced charges for a role in a hack and rob incident of a California-based computer store in 2004. So
he's been doing a lot of tricks online, let's put it like that.
Yeah,
I mean, DDoS attacks are terrible. Yeah. So, I don't want to say, terrible person, you deserve it, get into jail. But he kind of, did deserve... I mean, can I say that in, a not so, bad way? I mean, if you do something bad, make other people not being able to play their game, and for the sake of Blizzard not being able to have a working game, then you should be punished. So I think it's...
all the PR that comes from it, it's I can't play my game, and I paid for this, Blizzard sucks, Blizzard needs to get their act together, so many people aren't going to look up the news and be like, oh, there's this hacker, they're going to say, oh, Blizzard has poor servers, I'm going to play this other game.
Yeah, Blizzard gets 100% of all the blame. Why can't you handle it? Come on, Blizzard, small indie company.
yeah, that was when you know, like the genre of MMOs that was more at its peak. So, you know, they could be concerned about a lot of PR repercussions if there were more competitors that were stable at the time.
That's very true as well. Yeah. No, I think it's really good that this actually happened. I wonder if it's only serious, like... Wait, I think he was actually sent from his country to the US to be prosecuted, right?
Yeah, so he's in California now, I think.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Interesting. Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, I think when people do things that you know should be illegal, they should get some kind of consequences so that other people don't do it, you know? So it doesn't become a thing of like, oh, really? Like, you DDoS Blizzard? You know what? Let me try and do it too, see if I can do it. Maybe I can DDoS them longer or something, you know, something stupid. So if you see something like this that it's taken very seriously and he's actually going into jail, hopefully it'll actually stop people from trying to do something like this.
Yep.
So people take it more serious.
Yeah. On to more lighthearted news. BlizzCon tickets went on sale yesterday, Wednesday, May 9th, and the first round sold out in like 11 minutes.
Yep.
And
not too surprising.
Yep. And the second round will be on sale May 12th at 10 a.m. Pacific time for $199. And then the BlizzCon benefit dinner ticket sale May 16th at 7 p.m. Pacific for $750. BlizzCon 2017 had a surprise third round because the Anaheim Convention Center expanded. We don't expect that to be the same. We just assume more tickets went on sale in these two batches.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you do not get in, check out LFG BlizzCon so you do not pay scalped rates for tickets. LFG BlizzCon is a site that you're required to sell it at face value and go through a lot of verification, so there are no scalpers there. So, you know, people overbuy and want to sell some, you can get it safely that way.
That's good to know. Is LFG BlizzCon like a website or?
Yeah, it is. Let me just make sure it's LFG BlizzCon.
Oh, I think Katsuki just linked it. She wrote LF BlizzCon.
Yeah, LF BlizzCon, not LFG BlizzCon.
Okay, good to know. I had no idea.
Yeah, and it's a community-driven site. I think Elvine, who does some goal-making stuff, I think he was the one that does a lot of work on it. So it's a cool site. It's been around. I think in the past, some employees from ZAM have gotten some extra tickets through it that way as well for, you know, other devs or employees that wanted to attend.
That's good.
Yeah. And if you didn't know, BlizzCon is November 2nd and 3rd. If you don't attend, you can still see all panels, not just the main panels, using the virtual ticket. And Wowhead's party is the day before, on November 1st at the Hilton Anaheim. And we've got a cool video linked in the post showing the stuff that happened at the party last year.
Also, the virtual ticket gives you the digital, I forgot the word, digital prize or the digital rewards. What do you call it? Like the digital...
Yeah, digital goodies.
Goodies, that's a good word. Yeah, so if you get the virtual ticket, you also get the digital goodies just like every other BlizzCon attendee, which is good to know. Like they might be, I don't know, might be a pet or something for you.
Yeah, we got those Alliance and Horde mounts last year, but usually it's some sort of Murloc-themed pet.
So that's good to know.
Yeah. And our final live event, it's the Spring Balloon Festival micro holiday. Yes, it's a micro holiday, so you don't get anything permanent from it, but you get to experience Azeroth from a different cool perspective. There are little X's on the map, and you can go on balloon rides with friends, and there are funny narrators that ask you various questions. So it's just kind of a fun RP type event, and you can get some pretty screenshots just flying above the sky, seeing what's going on.
Yeah, I was very surprised when I saw it. I was like, wait, what's this?
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cute. It was unexpected.
The most fun one is in Suramar, and there's a Suramar tour guide, and it's like, final question, what is the traditional greeting used in Suramar City? And it's like, good guess. The correct answer is an illusion. What are you hiding?
Oh, that's a good one. I like it.
Yeah. So that's the festival, and it runs through the 13th of May.
Okay. So a few days.
Yep. And we have a cool surprise at the end, but I just want to run through some stuff on Wowhead recently to check out in the last week or so. On Sunday, we had our monthly collaboration with Novel 87, and it was perfect timing because we covered the story of the Makar orcs leading up to this moment, and then we got all that crazy broadcast text. But in the article, we explain the whole history of them, how the orcs were founded, and then how the Warlords history came about, and then all the parts of Warlords that you could not actually play in the game, which led me to speculate, wouldn't it have been cool to see like Garrosh and Grommas meeting actually like in person, or Garrosh confronting Gul'dan, or like all these interesting moments that I don't think a lot of people actually know about. So definitely check the article and video out. If you are someone into data collecting, we have updated the Wowhead client and Looter to work for Battle for Azeroth Beta. And Blizzard, every build does something that breaks it, and then we adjust the client to fix. So you can now install this, and by just running it and then uploading info, you can give Wowhead data so we can get things like drop rates and map locations for NPCs and miscellaneous quests and objects. So we're happy that that is updated. And we have rounded out our series on community opinions on class changes with one on the state of hunters. We will be continuing with this series, but it's really cool that we had, 12 classes and so many people from each community joining together to write their opinions. And we will be going back and looking at any specs that have had, interesting changes or things like the GCD or maybe Mythic Plus. And we really like the series. So we just want to keep doing it going forward, essentially. And then finally, we have our Mists of Pandaria Returning Player Guide, which goes over everything that happens if you quit during Mists of Pandaria and how stuff you were familiar with may have changed. So, this guide talks about, hey, if you quit in Mist, maybe you know that justice points were tied to reputation rewards. Well, Legion has changed that, so if you hated that system, it's gone. So we present each returning player guide from the perspective of what you remember from that expansion. And next Monday should be Warlords to round out the series.
Yep.
So, do you want to show the new art?
Yeah, I'm actually just putting it together. So, we have some new art made of Perk and I, and Brightpaw. Very good point. Which I will show you. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
A hype time? I'll show it to you now.
Oh, it's so cute.
There we go. They're adorable.
Yeah.
I love them so much. We also have the name of the artist, right?
Yep. It is Nashira, and her Twitter is at, one word, Nashira Sauce. So you spell Nashira, Nashira, and then just the word sauce, Sauce.
That's it. Nashira. So Nashira made them, and I am completely in love. They are so adorable. The adorableness just doesn't stop. It just keeps being adorable, everything about it. And yeah, you're holding Brightpaw as well.
Yeah.
So cute. Brightpaw is there too.
Something that did not happen today.
No. Well, it happened right before the show, but then he left us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also, all that hair that she gave me, it's so pretty. Yeah, it's a little bit more volume than I actually have. just a tiny bit more. No, it looks adorable. I love it.
Yeah,
I wish my hair could be like that.
We're trying to wear WoW themed things, so Annie has the Alliance and Horde shirt, so I have the Darkmoon Fair dress, which is more, neutral-ish, and Brightpaw, of course, because he's such an important part of the show.
Mm-hmm. And actually, the shirt, so if you look at the picture right now, I'll go back to our actual faces, and you can see that I'm actually wearing it today.
Yeah.
There it is. I'm actually wearing it today. So it was actually perfect timing, because we were gonna, I did not know that we were gonna show the pictures. I was already up in here and, about to start the show. Then I was told, so I didn't cheat. But I did know that the pictures were final, though. So some people might have been in my stream sometimes when I've been poked to check Discord, and this was This was part of the reason. And I'm really happy with them. I think they're adorable. So shout out to Nashira. Nashira, thank you so much. I love your art pieces.
Yeah, and also shout out to Jinxie, who did the past artwork that had me and Panzer on it. That was super cute, and we used them in BlizzCon pins. We just wanted to get some art of Annie as well, so that is why we have cute art of Annie now. Yeah,
I love it. I love it. We have a new emote too. Wait, we do? Do we have?
I think that went live.
Really?
I think. Well, I know Kitsuki mentioned it. But it's an emote of Annie. Let's see if the commands work. Oh, Kitsuki's typing something.
Maybe it has to be approved first.
Maybe it has to be approved. I don't know if you want to show it, but she just pinged you in Discord.
Let me take a look.
There's an emote of you. It is definitely you. It has red hair.
It's definitely me. Okay, let me take a look.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I open Discord, is that going to mess up your camera? No, it's fine.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I do see it. Okay, I'll show it quickly on stream as well. Let me get it here. Yeah, I think we're waiting for it to be approved.
Yep.
Let me just save this quickly. There we go. Here.
Yep.
There we go. So I am getting my own emote here on Wowhead. And as you can guess by looking at it, it's an Annie's derp. It's an Annie's derp emote, you know, for all those times when I accidentally mess up the intro.
Or mute yourself.
Or mute myself. I think it's already been uploaded. I think we're probably just waiting for Twitch to approve it.
Yep.
I put a lot of thought into this emote. It was actually Kitsuki's idea.
Yep.
As far as I know. She was the one who said it to me, at least. I don't know if there was a middleman there somewhere, but...
Yeah.
Perfect for intros and muted mics. Yep. There it is. So it's going to be, I think it's Wowhead, right? The prefix? Yeah, the prefix is Wowhead, so it's probably going to be Wowhead derp.
Yeah, like Wowhead and something like that. Kitsuki would know more.
Yeah, I think Kitsuki will know. I was just looking at the other emotes, like, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the Wowhead Yay emote is actually an emote of Perk.
Yep.
And the Wowhead Rage is an emote of Panzer. So I think if we're going to follow the same sort of pattern, it'll probably be a Wowhead derp.
Yep.
Aegis told me about the idea. He's so awesome and handsome too. Oh no, that's a fake. No. That's... I think he just made that up. That was not a Kitsuki message. I didn't see the end of the message, so I shouldn't have read that. But yeah. The Sens, thank you for subscribing. Soon you will have access to this emote.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that
was really cute. Sorry, I was just gonna say that was really cute. You can go on.
But yeah, just to transition, thanks for your support. There's also an emote of Brightpaw. And we love adding emotes to reflect the interests and people and personalities on the show. So just to wrap it off, we have a few questions. Some of the questions we got we couldn't really answer, but let's see, just to go through a few that we had. Winchester CTR says, are you both playing Horde or Alliance in the beta or just one side? We are trying to play both sides on Wowhead to fully understand the story, and I think it's really fun because I keep seeing all these parallels between like Catherine and Jaina versus Rastakhan and like the mother parent child relationship with Rastakhan and Talanji, or like how Queen Ashara kind of is kind of meddling in the background on both sides, or how like both empires are doing well but then all of a sudden they're not doing well. So I think it's interesting to play both sides.
Yeah, I think it's really important for like people, especially people working at Wowhead, because you have to understand everything, and to understand everything you need to play both sides, otherwise it'll be biased information. And so yeah, definitely.
Yep. Me
personally, I would probably only play Alliance, only because I would personally only be playing my Warlock. So it's mostly because of the the time commitment and everything that it takes. But for Wowhead, it's always going to be interesting to play both sides.
Yep. Let's see. Another one is Ichibushi saying, "What do you feel about the Sandland, the vampire elves?" So
the Sand Lane.
Sand Lane, yeah. I don't think they're coming after Ian said high elves weren't really a thing. I think maybe there'll be an example of, oh, we tried to work with them, but they didn't work out. They were too annoying and unreliable, because they are kind of irritating people in the data mine dialogue we found. So I think it will not go well trying to work with them.
But then again, he did say no customization for old races, and then a few days later we got the golden eyes for blood elves, so you never know. You never know.
I think that's basically it. I'm not sure if Sass has picked the winners yet. Oh, yeah, he did. The giveaway winner is Banky the Machine.
Oh, Banky the Machine, congratulations. It was the Deathwing Funko Pop, right? Which I think I actually have it.
Nice.
So I can give you a quick preview of how it looks like. It's still in its package.
Yeah.
Right here. So something which is special about this one is that it's a lot bigger than all the other Funko Pops.
Yeah. Because it's Deathwing, so he's super big.
Like, I'm not sure if I've seen any other character that is this size. Maybe there are some special characters in some other games as well. I don't know, but at least among the World of Warcraft ones, it's a lot bigger. It's kind of special, actually.
Yep.
So congrats on that. I hope you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that covers everything that we wanted to for tonight. I'm still like feeling all like warm and bubbly because of the artwork.
I know,
it's so cute. Yeah, I wanted to tell people so badly, but I was like, I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait. You know, no teasers, just gonna wait till, you know, I can actually talk about it properly. And I'm glad we could now. Let me show it again, just in case you missed it.
I love my dress and my hair.
Looks amazing. And Brightpaw there as well, of course.
Yeah. Where is he? He's like, I made the bed right before the show, and he just like nestled himself into the bed, and I posted a picture of that, so he's probably just sleeping on the bed again instead of his nice cat bed right here. So.
Aw. Yeah, she's really good. I like it so much.
Yeah, the attention to detail is really awesome.
Cool wallpaper. Is it available in 4K? Ooh.
Yeah, well, we can see about Katsuki. Maybe, get on like a little gradient background or something.
Maybe we could add some kind of background to it and maybe use it as some kind of wallpaper. Yeah, I think that would be cool, actually.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I would use that.
Yeah.
It would be really cute. But yeah, so thank you everyone for watching tonight. I hope you learned something new or saw something you haven't seen before. And thank you guys for supporting all the new subscribers, all the resubscribers, all the people just being in the chat, all the followers, everyone who is engaging, people asking questions. Thank you guys so much for everything you guys do. You being around, being interested in what we do makes it possible for us to continue doing it. So thank you very much to everyone. Also, a little special shout out to people who are using the Wowhead Premium subscription on the Wowhead website. If you're not familiar with it, what it is a little subscription, repeating words. It's a subscription which removes all the ads for you and also gives you some extra little perks, such as having your own color when you're typing in the forums. So extra shout out to you guys. Also shout out to people who are watching us from the Wowhead front page. Hello to you guys too. Don't be afraid to join us in the Twitch chat if you want to. If you don't want to, it's okay, you know. I understand you feeling a bit more safe on the Wowhead site. But Twitch is also very safe, I promise you. I promise you. Come be on Discord with us. Yeah, Wowhead has a Discord. It's also very active. So if you want to, talk to people, you can talk to people over there as well on a daily basis. And thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Just, again, if you want to hop on our Discord, we also have a Discord webhook. If you'd like to get all the updates that we talk about on the show instantly, you can install it on your own server, and then whenever we post news, it shows up right in your channel. We also have a Twitch extension, so if you like to stream, now you can show right on the extension with an easy button what talents and gear you're using that matches up with the armory, as well as your current transmog. And you can also, follow us Facebook, Twitter, all the other places. But for the people watching, you're probably most interested in Discord and Twitch. So
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. And as usual, this video will go up on YouTube as well. So if you, want to catch up or like watch it again, or, if you want to be reminded of how the artwork looked like or anything like that, will be on YouTube.
Yep.
Until next time, everybody. As usual, Thursday evening, 1 p.m. Pacific and 10, I'm like looking at Perg, like, am I saying it right? And 10 p.m. Central European time. We'll see you guys then. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye. Take care.
Yep.